I need to pull that down. Hey. Thank you for tuning in to another Morning Glory Apostolic Prophetic Center video. I'm your host, Diedrich Hubbard. Ooh, I need a shade. And today we're going to talk about the definition of directions. The definition of direction. And we're going to use John chapter 21 as the foundation or the basis for the revelation that we're going to teach. Because what God is showing me in this season, a lot of you are so in tune to people out of blind obligation, you really don't know when God is speaking to you. And as a result of not knowing when God is speaking to you, you are following directions that is not leading you to the wisdom of what God is doing in this season. So, and as I've been telling you, a lot of people are still speaking prosperity and blessings and miracle. But how many of you know that we're starting the first year of a 7-year famine? And so we're really in a position of preparation, but everybody want to speak prosperity. What I've been telling my people, I said, I said, go buy your storage unit, go start putting you some canned goods in it, because we're gonna have a food shortage. And if many of you are following the directions of prosperity, you're missing the direction of preparation, which means when the missile attacks come upon the USA, when the economy collapse, when the food shortage happen, what are you going to do? John chapter 21, verse 1 said, after these things, Jesus showed himself again to the disciples at the Sea of Tiberias. And on this wise showed he himself. Verse 2 says, there were together Simon Peter, Thomas called Didymus, and Nathanael of Canaan in Galilee, and the sons of Zebedee, and 2 other of his disciples. Simon Peter said unto them, I go a fishing. They said unto him, we also go with thee. They went forth and entered into a ship immediately, and that night they caught nothing. So first we got to understand that Jesus has risen at this present time, okay? And he had been showing himself in different situations to the disciples. And in most situations, the disciples sometimes didn't know it was Jesus. Just like, not to get ahead of myself, just like in this situation, they don't know Jesus talking to them. So what we see in verse 2, that people seen Peter as the leader when Christ died. Okay? So when we look at this, we see 7. 7 people were with Peter. 2 of them were the name. So what we got to understand, when you follow a leader, there's a cycle of understanding. That's a cycle of wisdom. That's a cycle of knowledge. That's a cycle of power. That's a cycle of authority that you should be able to tap into. And what we see here, that in verse 3, okay, Christ died. Peter was a fisherman by trade. So when Christ died, Peter no longer carried the torch of winning souls. Peter went back to fishing. And see, what's wrong with a lot of you is that you're still following leaders who haven't put wisdom in you. They haven't put understanding in you. They don't have knowledge of you. You don't have authority. All you are following are people that are actually teaching you nothing. They said, we go with thee. They went forth. But here's the kicker. Peter being a fisherman by trade, he knew the best time to go to fishing was at night. But at this particular time, why he didn't catch anything? See, you got to be careful of following people of God, and you see the power that God has in them, but yet and still, you still see them as who they are in the natural. You understand what I'm saying? So instead of Peter walking in the spiritual authority that Christ had given him, he went back to the natural authority, which is what? Self-sufficiency. Because we got to look at it. He was Jesus with all this time. They ain't have to pay no bills. Jesus paid for everything. Jesus fed them. That wherever Jesus lay, they lay. So now that Jesus is gone, what I'm going to do? I'm going to go a fishing. And see, for a lot of you, you in a church, you under a leader, you under a mentor that you've been fishing with for 15, 20, 30, 40 years, and you ain't caught nothing. You don't know who you are in Christ. You say you got a prayer life, but you don't know if it's the voice of God. You say God blessing you, but did God tell you it was a blessing from him? So for a lot of us, God is trying to get us to a place where we understand his direction, not what these prophets feeding us, not what these supposed pastors feeding us, but direction that comes directly from him. Verse 4 said, but when the morning was now come, Jesus stood on the shore. But the disciple knew that it was not that it was Jesus. Then Jesus said unto them, children, have you any meat? They answered him, no. Verse 6 said, and he said unto them, cast the net on the right side of the ship, and ye shall find. They cast therefore, and now they were not able to draw in for the multitude of fish. See, watch this. Ain't it funny that you could come on TikTok or pull up a YouTube video and listen to somebody that you don't know nothing about and get more power, more authority, more wisdom, more knowledge, and more understanding than the person that you've been sitting under all these years? That's what you know it's time to go. That's when you know. And see, for a lot of you that's going to view this message, if you listen to you in its attire, I'm gonna get into some good stuff. But a lot of you listen to this message, you sitting in that spirit right now. God, is it time for me to leave? God, what church I ought to go to? God, show me who need to mentor me. God, show me who need to help me with build this church. God, show me this. God, show me that. You confused. You confused because you want to stay in a place that you got comfortable with. But according to verse 6, all you got to do is change direction. See, Jesus said, cast your net over there. See, we got to look at Peter. Peter and them was there all night. So Peter probably throw the net from the left to the right, the front, the back, to the side, to the corner, and didn't catch nothing. That's how many of you are. You done did everything in the church but grow. You on the praise team, parking lot committee, chicken frying committee. You in the choir. You on the deacon board. You want to be in the nurses. You in the little help groups. You busy, but you ain't growing. This your season to change direction. And see, for a lot of you, you don't understand the direction of God because you don't really have the heart for the things of God. See, when you got a heart for the things of God, you'll hear directions that lead you to a place that God needs to show his power. But because you're not confident that you hear God, you miss your chance to show the power of God. I was telling my wife yesterday, it's a house round the corner from where I stay. God told me 2 weeks ago, he said, I need you to cut that yard. I just kept passing back and forth by the yard. And then the other day, I was putting my truck in the shop, put me a rear end in it, and I rolled home. And God said, you need to cut that yard tomorrow. So I get up, pass by the house. I see the car there. I said, well, let me go get my stuff and come back and cut the yard. I come back, the person who stayed there was gone. I cut the yard, and boy, when I say I cut, it's on my Facebook page. When I say I cut that yard good, I think I got there by 7:30. I didn't leave till about 9. So as I was leaving the house later on that evening, I seen the lady just standing in her yard with her mouth open. God had told me to leave a note, but I ain't leave a note because I was tired. I was like, let me go and get out of here. So I turned around. This is why you got to understand direction. I said, let me turn around and tell her who I am. So I pulled up in her yard and she couldn't hear what I was saying. So I turned down my music. I would listen to that 4 for 4, and then that Johnny Taylor came on just because. I'm not here, girl. Baby, please understand. I work hard all day. Just because that Johnny Taylor be hitting that. I don't know what you doing folks look at Johnny Taylor. But anyway, she said, hey, she said, my name's Shirley. I said, yeah. I said, God told me to cut your grass. Her mouth open. Huh? I said, God told me to cut your grass. I said, he told me to cut it a few weeks ago. I said, but I was kind of slow with it. But he told me I had to do it today. And she had a fiance on the phone. And I said, you don't owe me nothing. He told me to do it. She said, babe, listen to this. I said, hey. I said, I was just telling your fiance, God told me to cut the grass. He said, man. He said, thank you. He said, I've been telling her, baby, your grass getting high. You want me to come around there and cut it? She kept saying, no, no, no. He said, you know how these independent women is. And he said, the last thing I said to her, well, I'm going to let God handle it then. Be careful what you say. I said, well, God handled it then. I said, don't worry about it. I said, God told me to cut it this year. I said, you don't owe me nothing. I said, I just stay around the corner in Camellia Gardens. Her fiance, he said, where you stay? I said, I stay around the corner. And he said, that's where I stay. You notice how God answered a person's prayer that I didn't even know her nor her fiance, but the direction that I got led right back to God, not only to God in the place that I stay. See, y'all be in these grocery stores and God tell y'all to pay for somebody's groceries. But you look at what they got on. Ooh, they got that gold on. They got them, they holding that purse. You don't know what that person got. And what had happened, God got on me. I used to cut yards for free, especially old people. But I used to be around there cutting that yard. And then they grandsons and sons come over there and they smoking that weed and drink. I said, they ought to be out here and cutting their grass. That's why I'm over here and cutting it for free. Like God told me, and they could be doing it. I stopped. That's when God got on me. He said, don't worry about what they do. You do what I tell you to do. Direction. See, we can't look at what somebody else has, what they don't have. Because even going around there, I said, okay. I said, it must be a female. I said, but if she got a man, I ain't finna cut no grass and no man around here. God didn't tell me don't worry about what happened. He said, cut the grass. And that's why a lot of y'all miss the voice of God, because he tell you to do things that ain't no profit in it. But see, y'all only want to do something if you can be acknowledged. If somebody can call your name and you can be like, directions is important this season. So I was talking to my friend. I said, that's why people need to understand. Don't covet what I got. Don't be jealous of what I got. Don't talk down what I got. I just told y'all the testimony. You don't know what God tell me to do to get what I get. That was a $300 something job I did for free. But y'all got to be rewarded for everything God wants you to do. Verse 7. Therefore the disciple who Jesus loved said unto Peter, it is the Lord. Now when Simon Peter heard that it was the Lord, he girt his fisher coat unto him, for he was naked, and did cast himself into the sea. And the other disciples came in a little ship, for they were not far from the land, but as it were 200 cubits, dragging the net with fishes. And as soon as they were come to land, they saw a fire of coals there, and fish laid thereon and bread. Watch this. Here Peter, the second in charge, didn't even know the Lord's voice. He didn't know the Lord's direction. Y'all got to be careful telling people what ain't God, because you don't know his voice like they know his voice. But watch what it said. The disciple that Jesus loved says the Lord. See, you only gonna hear the voice of God when you love the things of God. You only gonna follow the directions of God when you love the things of God. When I be in these grocery stores sometimes, and I see old people, anybody, and they fumbling with their card, and their card keep getting declined, and God said, pay for their groceries. I said, don't worry about it. I said, put it on mine. They look at me, ooh, thank you, thank you, thank you. See, when you care more about what you gonna have than what other people gonna have, then you ain't ready to hear God's direction. Because see, a lot of time, God's directions is going to take away from you before he give you anything. Dog, God, I can't do this. Dog, God, I can't do that. Now you scared to do what God say do because you think God gonna take more of what you got. You ain't ready for God. You ain't ready for him. You still selfish. See, when you operate in the authority of God, you don't worry about what you got left. I teach my people, it's called selfless sacrifice. Because you got to understand, when I tell my testimony, some of y'all need to hear it and pay attention to it. Because when you sitting on a prophetic ministry and you hear the prophets tell their testimony and the things that we have to go through to get this, some of you got to understand God got to take you through it so you can get what you got. So when I tell you I was homeless, at least God ain't telling you to get homeless. But if he tell you to give, he telling you to give because you still got a home. You might not have no food. The bills might be late, but you got a place to stay. Watch this. I said I was broke. Watch this. You still got money coming in. You weren't lifting up no car seats trying to find change just to go buy a burger. Watch this. It wasn't no such thing as I didn't have enough for whatever God told me to do. I gave whatever I had. The Bible talks about the woman with the 2 mites gave more than the other people who was giving out of their abundance. See, God bless more when you give out of what you have than what you don't give it out. I was talking to a evangelist today, and she gave a testimony. They got a new truck, and she gave a testimony how God told her to wash the truck. And so I said, hey, you need to wash that truck. I said, it ain't been washed. But see, I was saying it because God told me to say it, but I don't think she understood. She said, well, you buy me a hose pipe then. I said, haven't you been eating since you didn't have the hose pipe? She said, yeah. I said, that's your hose pipe money there. She got quiet, smiled, closed the door. See, watch this. You can run the car through the car wash for $5 or $10. See, when God give you instructions on directions, when the hose pipe went out, you should have been out there with a bucket and a rag. You waiting on a hose pipe is an excuse to not follow God's direction. He asks you how to wash the truck. And matter of fact, when I get through this video, I'm gonna call him and tell him. All he said was wash it. You go out there with a bucket and a rag and a scrub brush if necessary. You can ride it through the thing for $5 or $10. See, that's why it's important that when you hear the direction of God and he tell you something, don't make up no excuse for what you ain't got. Because he told Moses, what's that in your hand? Your water still on. See, so it's something that Peter, who's supposed to have been second in charge, didn't know it was the Lord's voice. But the disciple who we love, which we all know is John, John said that love. See, only through love you're going to really hear the voice of God. A lot of you missing the direction of God because you mad at people, you jealous of people, you still angry in there, you passive aggressive for them, you got things against them, and you think God gonna speak to you? He speaks through love. I don't hate nobody. I might not fool with you, but I don't hate you. Now the disciples came with the fish. But watch this. Christ already had fish and bread ready. See, y'all worrying about how God gonna bless you when you do something for him, but you fail to see he already taking care of what you need. So you sowing seeds and you giving on a hope that God gives something back to you, but you fail to see if God tell you to do something, he already got something prepared for you. I didn't tell y'all, I cut the yard for free. I put up my equipment. My cash out went ding, 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 ding. Somebody sent me a couple of $100. God already had it prepared that he was going to give me something anyway. I'd rather God pay me than man any day. Because when God pays you, guess what? That's one way that you know he approves of who you are. But you worrying about, watch this. Is God gonna bless me cause I'm doing this and I'm giving that and God always take it from me? That means you still selfish. Verse 10 said, Jesus said unto them, bring of the fish which you have now caught. Simon Peter went up and drew the net to land full of great fishes, 153. For all there were so many, yet was not the net broken. Jesus said unto him, come and dine, and none of the disciples did ask him, who are there, knowing that it was the Lord. See, it's just like a leader, like Peter, that you bring in and take what somebody else done work to bring you to you. See, he went to see Jesus now that he know it was Jesus, but he left the people out there to fend for the catch. See, you got to understand a real leader gonna help you drag your load. That's why when some of y'all get mad at me, when I might not give you an answer that you're looking for, or I might not confirm, because I'm helping you drag your load. See, I ain't gonna be around all the time, just like Christ. So I got to teach you how to drag your load. What's dragging your load? Okay, God, what I supposed to do right here? See, when you dragging your own load, it gets you close to God. If you keep looking for me to help drag your load, you ain't getting close to God. You getting close to me. And I'll be quiet and shut up before I become anybody's idol. But don't let a leader that's helping you bring in the profits, but not helping you bring in the load. Y'all understand that? So watch this. Jesus already had the fish fixed, but he said, bring some of what you got. See, a lot of y'all depend on Jesus to always bring some, but you don't bring nothing to the table. You keep asking for a supernatural blessing, but you don't follow supernatural instructions, supernatural directions. So we fail at listening to God when it comes to God wanting to provide for. I remember I used to stay in Atlanta. I was so hungry one day. I was sitting in my apartment with that black mall up there and Kanye, I forgot where it was. I can't even think of the name of it. I was so hungry one day. I'm sitting there, and the whole guy said, "Go round to Target." Target was around the corner. I had to walk about 20 minutes. I said, "I ain't got no money." I said, "What I'm going to Target for?" He said, "Walk around to Target and go over there where the milk at." I get out hungry, walking, going to Target. That's what I'm coming in here for, just to look at the food. So I'm hungry, so I'm looking to see if any samples anywhere, and I'm looking for some that I can get open and eat and go and walk out. I walk right round by the milk. This man and his family, he said, "Hey, I know you. You be on them YouTube videos. You Prophet Hubbard, aren't you?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "I told God whenever I seen you, I was going to give you $100. Boy, when he said that, my eyes lit up. Following direction now. He pulled that 100 out, boy, my stomach went to flipping. I was, boy, I'm finna eat today. Watch this. I was finna buy groceries with this money. But watch the direction. But I knew what I had told God. He gave me his grocery money and they left out direction. What I just said a few minutes ago. Sometimes God will take away from you before he give to you. He was so happy to see me. He said, "Man, you so funny. You be doing this, you be that." And we sat there and talked. Now I'm talking, but I'm saying hurry up because I don't want you to know I'm finna go grocery shopping. You know, I had a little pride back there still there. So I want you to go because I'm finna go I'm finna eat tonight. See, y'all try to shortchange God because you still gotta have something. You got to shortchange God because you want to go on your fishing trip. You want to go on your vacation. You want to get the new Air Jordans. You want a new car. So you shortchange God and wonder why you always don't have enough. This is now the third time that Jesus showed himself to his disciple. After this, he was risen from the dead. So why is it that Christ was walking this earth in his spirit, but yet the people who should have been spiritual didn't know Jesus' voice from the spirit? A lot of y'all following people who you listening to through their natural voice because they never tapped in the spirit. See, that's why when you got a leader, when you got a mentor, when you got what y'all call them overseer, when you got an apostle, ain't nowhere in the world that they don't speak nothing in your life and it don't happen. You got to know them. A lot of you don't know them because had you known them, you'll be farther along than some of you are right now. And for many of you, because they're not spiritually connected, you're not spiritually growing. How many more conferences that you get, prophetic conference you got to go to? How many revival? How many sleep in? How many prayer breakfasts? See, because you never been around a real person who teach from the Spirit of God, you forever learning and never growing. You forever learning. You don't even know who you are. Verse 15 said, so when they had dined, Jesus said to Simon Peter, Simon, son of Jonah, lovest thou me more than these? He said unto him, yea, Lord, thou knowest I love thee. He said unto him, feed my lambs. Verse 16, he said unto him again the second time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? He said unto him, yea, Lord, thou knowest I love thee. He said unto them, feed my sheep. Verse 17, he said unto them the third time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? Peter was grieved because he said unto him the third time, lovest thou me? And he said unto him, Lord, thou knowest all things. Thou knowest that I love thee. Jesus said unto him, feed my sheep. You know what most Christians miss by those three verses? Jesus was talking about spiritual growth. See, feed my lambs. Lambs are sheep 12 years and under. Sheep are 12 years and older. So what he was doing, he was testing Peter's spiritual growth. Peter really didn't love Jesus. He loved the attention that he got when he was with Jesus. You want to prove it? Because in verse 17, Peter got grieved. Who get grieved talking to Christ? Unless what Christ is talking to you convicts you. Peter grieved. He said, you know it's all things. And was Jesus, see, he said, feed my lambs once, but he said, feed my sheep twice. That's growth. He was trying to show Peter, but because Peter wasn't spiritually understanding, you haven't grown at all. That's why he went back to fishing. What I'm telling some of y'all, you ain't grown at all. That's why you get grieved when you hear somebody like me. You know, that's why you don't go to church because your boyfriend go there. Your girlfriend went there. Your mama filthy. Your family built it. You like the choir. You like the way the preacher teach. You like the free shirts. You like the fellowship hall. You go to a church because Christ sent you there. But y'all going like a fashion show. The latest bootleg merchandise. Some of y'all won't even be the real merchant. The latest bootleg merchandise. Because you ain't growing. See, the Bible says friendship with the world is an enemy against God. A lot of y'all going in church every day as God's enemy and think you his friend. That's why when the culture changed, church don't supposed to change. They wearing plaids and stripe in the world. You shouldn't be wearing plaids and stripe in the church. You changing with the world. The word stays the same. They walking to church with no panties on and shaking them big old tatas. Y'all in there doing the same thing. You got your long Carter B nails. In the world, they in the church. See, y'all going in church as an enemy and wonder why that's all you can do is buck, shout, and fall out. Where your power? What God's voice in your ear? Y'all just like Peter. You love the atmosphere of religion because it's not the spirit of God. God's spirit grows you. It don't control you. Directions. Some of y'all supposed to left a church 2-3 years ago and you still sitting right. But you know what's happening now? Thank you, Holy Spirit. He said he gonna make it uncomfortable that many of you got to leave. He did me like that. It's amazing how people say they love you to God speak to you. You know how many people called me since I left for church? Only one, maybe two, and them just was my friends before I even went to church. Pastors don't call. The brother Hubbard buddies and this and that. See, God, look, when you got real love, it don't change because you change churches. It don't change because you grow. That wasn't real love that y'all see in these churches. Because ain't no love in the leader. Because see, it's got to come a point in time that when you under a leader from God, they got to sit you down. They got to tell you what your purpose is. They got to tell you your destiny. They got to tell you your gift. They tell you your calling. They got to. I do it every 3 and 6 months because I don't want people around me sitting on a pew suffering from pew death. If a leader can't speak to your growth, that means they ain't speaking to your spirit. And for a lot of you, you spiritually dead thinking you growing. It's more to God than prosperity. It's more to God than bless me. It's more to God than I need a miracle. It's more to God than I want a house. I want a car. And in this season, this the first year of the next 7 years of famine. But most of y'all ain't hearing preparation. Y'all hearing prosperity. God gonna bless you. Sow this seed, he gonna give you that. I'm telling you, stop buying little Johnny and Susu them Jordan. Go find you a farm and say, hey, we need to learn how to hunt, especially my little children. I go cut some of these yards with the hunters. They children 6, 7 years old, shooting guns, killing deers. You know what I was doing? I got these new Jordan 12s on. I got on this Balenciaga. And I'm trying to tell y'all, it ain't gonna be no grocery stores. How you gonna get your food? You ain't gonna be able to walk in Piggly Wiggly and Kroger's and Publix and pick up food. You gonna have to kill it, gut it, cook it. Ooh, I just got my nails done. What? I can't get that smell in my hair. You gonna starve? Ain't nobody telling you that. You better go find them MREs. You better go find. You better go find them canned goods. You better start stocking them up. Because the Bible say Christ come like a thief in the night. What y'all gonna do when the missiles hit? Y'all don't even know where to go. I know what 12 cities he told me, but he said don't say nothing. Because why don't say nothing? Because he don't want you to move ahead of time. You got to understand his direction. He said, I speak it to him. But y'all ain't seeking him because y'all ain't sitting under people who tell y'all what's to come. What y'all gonna do when it ain't no more lights? No cell phone, no YouTube, no Brother Hubbard to tell y'all better get right. Y'all sitting around here worrying about blessing. And if you see from what's going on, we going into a world that has no love, no remorse, no compassion. But yet we still teaching our children to show respect, admiration, and follow directions in a world that ain't gonna have directions. They're gonna take people out at will. At will. You're gonna be sitting in houses with with shotgun holes in your window because a mob gonna come up to your house to take what you got, and you just gonna have to be as hard as them. It's either me or you. Boom, 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 boom. But y'all ain't hearing that. Sow a seed of $100 and God gonna do this. Sow a seed, because most of the prophetic people that's been out, they still all about the money. That's why they ain't preparing you. Y'all ain't gonna hear this from Juanita Bynum. Brian Kahn ain't gonna tell you. T.D. Jakes ain't gonna tell you. Jamal Bryant ain't gonna tell you. Michael, whatever it is, Stevenson ain't gonna tell you. Because they have lost that vein in God. Y'all sitting around here waiting on the Jonas 11s or 12, whatever come out, and you need to be out there learning how to filter water, learn how to build a tent, learn what plants you can eat, learn how to take dirty water and make it clean. All y'all care about is 30-inch hair down to your butt. What's gonna happen when your children got to prostitute themselves for food? This ain't no game. Look at the dollar. You see how those eight strong countries say they stopped using the dollar, and they didn't created their own crypto type currency. The dollar gonna fall. Some of y'all gonna lose money because money ain't gonna have no value. And y'all sitting right here and talking about my savings account. They gonna take your money, shut the bank down, ain't gonna nothing you could be doing about it. What y'all gonna do when China buys the USA? Y'all don't know that because you don't have a leader that has direction. I don't care about your Balenciaga. I don't care about your Michael Kors, your Louis Vuitton. That ain't gonna save you of what's coming. Even before the food shortage, it's already here. If y'all don't know it, you can go buy food, but when you eat the food has no taste. It doesn't even fill you up. You know why? It's not real food. They already got it in. You go to some grocery store, you got to be careful about what you buy because on the package it's labeled not USDA approved. That means you got countries just selling food and the people buying it, putting it on shelf, and it hadn't even been passed by the government regulation. You know why? Because when China come out here, they're going to take that away anyway. And it's funny. I cut a lot of white people house. It's funny when I go around the white people houses, they got those raised up gardens. They got animals. They got chicken. You go around the black folk house, all you see is a Mercedes, a BMW, swing sets, and motorcycles. Even the white people know something. Listen here. Come May 1st, a lot of you gonna have to get into a posture of consecration. And you better not get up till you know you hear God's voice. Because the things that coming, ain't nobody gonna tell you. 2 Timothy done told you. Some of y'all around people with itchy ears, you got your own teachers because they speaking money. You come over here on Brother Hubbard side, it's preparation, it's correction. We talking about sin. God ain't finna bless you and he ain't cleaned you up. What it look like making you a millionaire and you still cheating on your taxes? Come on now. Why would God give you a new car and you ain't changed your oil? You ain't never changed the oil in the one you got. Mismatched tires, chicken bone, old panties balled up under the seat, and shoes everywhere and clothes. And you think God gonna give you some? God is a God of principle. And a lot of y'all ain't getting blessed because you can't handle the blessing. And he keep trying to teach you, but you so caught up in yourself that you don't want to learn. Listen here. You better take your spiritual growth very important from May on. Don't be around here listening to these lying prophets. Don't be around here mad at people because they got more than you. You don't know what people go through. You got to understand that the directions that God given in this season, he only given to people, watch this, who love him. Because the Bible say it's only going to be a remnant saved. Stop falling in love with the idea of Jesus and fall in love with the person of who Jesus really is. If you're only serving him because you want to one day get blessed, you want a house behind the gate. See, watch this. I don't care about no gated community. I don't care about the white folks community. All I care is a roof over my head. Now, I ain't going to stay no anywhere, but I ain't got to be around nobody rich. But I don't want to be around nobody poor. So wherever I go, I got to be comfortable. Why would I seek things of value when we in a season of things there is no value? Get into your position of posture. And in a position or a posture of consecration, and don't you let up till you know you hear the voice of God. Y'all be blessed and have a good day.